Hello everyone, welcome back to A Good Snowman is Hard to Build. I'm currently here with Ben and Alan, and I want to build them both as far to the left hand side as possible because I've made a trio out of these three in the inverse world, and now I'm hoping to use Ben and Alan along with that red capped fellow on the left to try and make another. But the thing with the solution that I had previously is that this body has to be in this corner. So I'm assuming I need to make the other body somewhere kind of in this vicinity at the very least. So I did go back and watch my solve for some of the other bits because I knew I was going to struggle with redoing this this part of the puzzle. So I know I get to here, and then I think this went over that. And then I could look on my window over the side, but I'd have to pause the recording and it would be a whole faff. So can I re-intuit how I'm getting through this? Well, that can go there. And then this needs one more piece of snow. Can't be that one because this then can't go anywhere. So it's not going to be the one to the left either. Oh, wait. If I push that there, this can gain a piece of snow. But then I can't move the rest of this around. How did I do it? How did I do it? If I push that over... No, this is what I just failed to do. Hold on. I'm gonna give myself a hint from the past. Alright, so what I'm doing wrong is once I've got to here, I can hop that over there and then build a whole snow person in the top left corner by doing body, come round for a loop, and then head. So we knew Ben was going to have to be there. But then I need to mop up a piece of snow here. Then what? Then I think what I ended up doing is coming down here. I can then move this across and up. And I suspect my solve was this. So that's probably where they were before I reset to do it again. But I don't think with this I'm going to be able in any fashion to get these three balls to be a snowman. So with that in mind, let's get back to here. Reset. I still think this has to go in the top left corner. Then we have to think about trying to build a second snowman somewhere in the mid left section. So we can do this and get a head out that way. I can then move that over there. That is 2 bodies, 2 heads. Now the only big problem I have right now is this head is trapped in by snow that it would consume if it moved. So, can I now, using these corners, re-navigate this head back round there and in some capacity consume this snow? The problem I now have is getting this out. because I can't move these two away from one another. So there's the conundrum. Strap in as we try and solve this. What else could we try? If that went there and this went here, we could plot for those to be our heads. But this doesn't help because the head here still can't ever escape this. This is an unescapable zone. So, what if this piece became large, only I'm gonna need these to be out of the way first in some capacity, which I can't do that way. Oh boy. So this has to move out of the way that way. But then I can move that out of the way there. And if I then move this to the left, I can go all the way around the top and consume some of this snow, which would give that head in the top right corner an escape route. But then, if that comes down, I've got two bodies, two midsections, two heads. Which is good. Probably what I need. I just have to navigate all of it to the left-hand side functionally. Now that's a problem. So we need to make sure we're working with corners. That's fine. Then I think I have enough freedom of movement here to build anywhere that I like. Because I can escape all sides. Now, I can build on whichever of these I like. Do I go closest to the top? Do I go closest to the bottom? Or do I go exactly in the middle? If I stop and think for a minute, I could probably figure out a route that works. One of these three has to not move. Right? Because to not move means that you remain a full-size body. One of them has to move onto one novel tile of non-snow, and one of them has to move onto two novel tiles of not snow. If this were here, the one on the left, we go from big to medium, pushed on top of the body, pushed up, body moves left, moves up, becomes small, but that might be a problem. Oh god, should I just make the snow person and then worry about it? Because I have to redo this whole puzzle to re-establish where this is going to go. Because once I have this and this, you can see I've solved this in a way that I can now push all of this stuff to the left in whichever of these pieces I want. I almost want like a sketch pad. That wouldn't be very interesting for you guys, although me talking it through probably isn't much more interesting. Oh, this is fine right here. So this doesn't move. This moves once and becomes the midsection. That guy moves twice and becomes the head. Okay, we're fine. We figured it out. Thanks for being there and listening to me talk that one through. Right, we nap. And then, what did we say? We said this moves once, becomes the midsection. This moves twice, becomes the head. Okay. Right. So, these two must be bonding with this. There's a 3. And then down here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That between them are going to make 2 snow people. Probably 1 here, 2 here, and 1 of these. And then 1 of these, and these 2. So there's 3 meta puzzles remaining. We're getting through this at a decent pace. So these 2 want to be as close to the bottom right corner as we can, and this wants to be as close to the top left corner as we can. Let's jump on in. Okay, let's... Oh, do we start with Willow? Or do we start with Zoe and Richard? Because here's the thing. In this solve that I did of Zoe and Richard, neither of them used these bottom 4 tiles of snow. And my new solution is going to desire that they both end up in this bottom piece of snow. Also, if I reset, I can't ever move this ball to the left. So, I think that there's no way that this and this can be part of the same solution. So, I think these 3... Can I reset them? I can. I think these 3 are going to have to be engineered differently to match with Zoe and Richard. Which is fine. So, let's start here a second. Because I'm probably going to want to build Zoe or Richard here in the lower left corner of their enclosure rather than the top left enclosure, top left corner. Which I imagine will be okay. I just have to figure out how I got it where it went to. So, this goes down. I can do this. And let this out. I don't know that this helps me, but it seems like it might be helpful. If I then move that to there, I can consume all but one of that snow, because one of them is going to need to become snow body, the midsection. So I could even just do this right now. And if I put that there, I can use it as a hopping over point. So that seems like a much more collaborative space for Zoe to exist. And then, as for this guy, I imagine this is going to be best. Excuse you? I mean, doesn't matter which of these 2 becomes the midsection. But I think that is those 2 resolved in a much better way. So with that done, I desire to put 2 of Bob, James, and Matthew in that top triple section, and one of them as close to the right as I can, where I then want Willow to be in the top left corner, if possible. So let's try and get this to the top left corner. Can't really remember how I did this. It looks like it's going to involve some level of hopping over stuff. I think it finished at the top, didn't it? Although, let's try and get a bit more peculiar here. Because I have those open sides, what I can probably do is make this my big piece, stop napping on bushes, and then come round and up and across and down, and this gives me at least, if not a lot more freedom, a little more freedom for pushing the big guy around. Now, I can also do that, though that no longer enables me to move the big one. So I'm dubious as to actually what I can achieve here. This becomes my midsection, and I put that there. I can actually clear out a lot more of this. And I think that actually gives me the freedom I need to build this in the top left corner, because now I can go that up and across twice. That's fine, because I can do a center hop over this, which lets me get this out. That seems like a much more desirable place for Priscilla to reside. Sorry, that's Willow. So, Zoe on the left, Richard on the right. Zoe's going to be the left side, Richard's going to be the right, with Willow, and one of these guys, and then the other two are going to team up with Zoe. That's my plan. Now we just have to execute on that over here. Let's just remember, in this room, I'm making 3 snowmen, and there are 9 free tiles of snow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That means that 3 bodies need 2 apiece for 6, and 3 abdomens need 1 apiece each for 9. So all of them are in absolute necessity for snowball growth. So I'm going to start, I think, with this. And if I do that and that, then Rob can team up with the ones on the right-hand side, I hope. It might be that Richard needs to come over to the left slightly. If that's true, does he? Because if he does, I want to do that now. Because I put Richard, I think I called him Rob. If I put Richard over on the far right, he might actually want to be right here. Okay, let's redo this then. How did I do this in the first place? It's a great question. Not that. I think we did some of this. Then I bring that over, push the little one across. That gave me freedom to get this out. Then you become a body there. You become a head there. This is actually going to go much more smoothly, because then I can do that and that. So now, if I build one in this top right corner, these three are much more collaborative. Now, do I want to do it this way? Well, first of all, I need that rolled there, and then I can just make any one that I want to the top right. Then those three almost certainly can make a snowman together. It's then these that I need to figure out how to make a big one at the back, which would probably be that. And then that would quite happily be a head. And then this would quite happily make another one. And by the time I push this up, I've got two bodies, two heads in perfectly adequate places to make two more meta snow people. I think. I hope. I'm glad that I figured out that I could reset stuff in the overworld. So these two are both the exact same pattern of space. So we can go up and across twice. And so then exactly the same here. Up and across twice. And that floods all of that space. So it looks like it's just these 6 snowballs remaining. This is going to be our bench for all of that, I imagine. What is, if I go back to this just because it's a little bit easier to see, slightly more zoomed out. What is going to be our most limiting factor? I think these two are going to both have to be on the far left. That's plain enough to see. So let's start with that. I have to take a bit of a hike. Also, once these pair of meta snow people are made, I don't know if that's just 100% of everything done or if there's more to it after that. Right, that's going to be a head eventually. I have big problems getting that out of there. I also have problems getting a body over there. One of these needs to be one larger. Could be this one. But they're going to end up in the center where I can't get them out because I can only navigate around corners with stacking. So then what? Great question. Like, the way I probably solved it, although I've already forgotten what the solve looked like, and the way it probably wants you to think about solving it is one snowman on the left, one snowman on the right. But probably not going to work out that way, just as I quietly rehydrate. So much talking. Right, what we're doing. Obviously, there's no bench here, so we will always start in this pen. And so our first move will always be this or this. Now, my concern about starting on this side is if I push this to the right twice, I can never recover it. So, I think we must start on this side and then try and finesse some way to push stuff to the left. So after this is put on these two tiles here, The only move we can make then is this. Then this can come up, or not. This can come out, which means we can actually move each of those over once. But if I move this up, oh, I can move this down, and now I have freedom to move other stuff to the left. That's good. That is definitely crucial knowledge, I think. If I put that there, I want / I need snow for bodies. So remember we discussed having to work on corners. I'm going to put that there on the corner so that, excuse you, but I can't push this ball down from this corner, so that is less helpful to me. So if it were the bottom side, I also can't push a corner. And now I can't do anything with those. So it comes down to, how can I move enough stuff to the left while gathering enough snow? Because the thing is, I need 6 pieces of snow. 2 for 2 bottom sections, 2 for 2 mid sections. Or rather, 2 bottoms at a total of 4 and 2 mids at a total of 2 for a total of 6. I can only collect the snow on this strip and the opposite on the other side of the plant pots strip of 3. That's all the snow I can get. So that has to start there, and I think this has to start here. Then we do this. Actually, I can bring that bottom one, I think. How did I can do that. I can move this all the way over. And then I can move this through that one piece. That seems good. Then, if I move that over once, and then across, I can navigate this. Nope. I can navigate this piece ahead of it to get the 2 that I want. But before I do that, I should think about where I want heads to go. That head can go there. And then this is ready to be built either there or here. Does it matter? A great question. I'm going to err to having them closer together. I don't know if that's going to be a mistake, but we'll find out, and if it is a mistake, I can just retread this. But those 2 now exist on the left together. This one's already been used. So if we come back down to our map, which is... Where's my nearest bench? There it is. I come to my bench here. This needs to be... Actually, if I go body, head, I can do this now. The problem is, of course, I need to redo this puzzle to make that work, which will negate the 2 on the right being resolved, but that's fine. So I need to resolve one of these in the lower right and one of them in the lower left. Now, all of the pieces are already their correct sizes, so that's going to be a careful dance. And then there's only a couple left to consider. Oh, we're going to finish with me. How cute. Right. That is going to be a story for next time. For now, thank you ever so much for joining me on this journey. If you have any questions, comments, recommendations, you can put those down below. Otherwise, hit that like button if you're having a good time. Subscribe for more if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.